Today we're going to discuss about industry. Where there is industry, there is progress. This means that industrial development leads to economic growth, modernization, and better living standards. When industries grow, they create jobs, produce goods, improve infrastructure, and help a country or region to develop. In simple terms, the saying means that industry helps a place move forward by boosting its economy and improving people's lives. When we say industry, it refers to the production of goods or services within an economy. It involves businesses and factories that make things or provide services. The term can also refer to a specific type of economic activity, such as the automobile industry, technology industry, or textile industry. In simple terms, industry means making or producing things, especially in factories. Now, let's proceed to Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was a major turning point in history when people began using machines to produce goods instead of making them by hand. It began in Britain in the late 18th century and later spread to other parts of the world. This period saw the rise of factories, new inventions like the steam engine, and the growth of industries such as textiles, iron, and coal mining. Many people moved from rural areas to cities to work in factories, leading to urbanization. The Industrial Revolution greatly changed how people work, how they live, and how they produce things, laying the foundation for the modern industrialized world. Now, let's proceed to Fordism versus Post-Fordism. Fordism and Post-Fordism are two different systems of industrial production and work organization. Fordism is named after Henry Ford, who popularized mass production in the early 20th century. It involves assembly line production, where each worker does a specific task repeatedly. This system focuses on standardized products, high efficiency, low-skilled labor, and large-scale production. Workers were usually paid enough to afford the products they made, like cars, supporting mass consumption. While the Post-Fordism, which emerged in the late 20th century, is more flexible. It focuses on smaller batches of specialized products, multi-skilled workers, and more use of technology. Instead of doing the same task over and over, workers may do a variety of tasks. Post-Fordism also supports more customized production, innovation, and a globalized economy. In summary, Fordism means mass production, repetition, and standardization, while the Post-Fordism is a flexible production, variety, and customization. Now, let's proceed to industrial geography. When we say industrial geography, it is a study of how industries are located and how they affect and are affected by their surroundings. It looks at where factories and businesses are built, why they are placed in certain areas, and how industrial activity shapes the economy, the environment, and of course the society. This field examines factors like access to raw materials, transportation, labor, markets, and government policies that influence where industries grow. It also studies the changes in industry over time, such as shifts from manufacturing to services or the movement of factories to different countries. In simple terms, industrial geography helps us understand the relationship between industry and the location. Now, let's proceed to Marx's tendency of the rate of profit to fall. It is an idea in Karl Marx's economic theory. It means that, over time, capitalist businesses will earn less profit from their investments even if production grows. According to Marx, this happens because capitalists keep investing more in machines and technology, what he called constant capital, and rely less on human labor or the variable capital. since only human labor creates new value. According to Mark's view, increasing machines reduces the amount of new profit created. As a result, the rate of profit or profit compared to total investment tends to decline over time. In short, Marx believed that as capitalism grows and becomes more efficient, it also becomes less profitable, leading to economic crisis. Now, let's proceed to industrial location. It refers to geographic placement of industries or factories. In other words, where businesses choose to build and operate their production facilities. Choosing the right location is important for industries because it affects cost, efficiency, and profits. Several factors influence industrial location, such as availability of raw materials, transportation, labor, energy, water supply, market access, and government policies. In simple terms, industrial location means the place where industry is set up and the reasons behind choosing that place. These are considered factors for location because they directly affect how efficient, profitable, and successful an industry or business can be in a specific place. Here's why each one matters. The first one is the land. Industries need land to build factories. The cost, the size, and type of land influence whether it's suitable. Cheaper and more spacious land is often preferred. Another one is the labor. Workers are needed to operate machines, manage production, and do other tasks. The availability, skill level, and cost of labor affect productivity and cost. Another one is the transportation. Good roads, railways, ports, and airports make it easier and faster to get raw materials and finished products out. This saves time and money. Another one is reducing transportation cost. Being close to supplier and markets reduces the cost of moving goods. Lower transport costs mean higher profits. Another one is reducing capital cost. Some areas offer lower taxes, cheaper utilities, or government incentives, which reduce the amount of money needed to start or run a business. Another one is risk. Businesses want to avoid areas with natural disasters, political instability, or high crime because this increases the risk of loss. A safer location means more security for the business. The last one is accessing a market. Being near to customers allows quicker sales, lower delivery costs, and better customer service. This helps industries sell more and grow. In short, these factors help businesses choose the best location to save money, reduce risk, and increase profit. Let's proceed with the expansion and eventual decline of industry. It describes the natural life cycle that many industries go through. In the beginning, an industry expands due to factors like high demand, new technology, availability of raw materials, or supportive government policies. This leads to increased production, job creation, and economic growth. However, over time, the same industry may begin to decline. This can happen for several reasons, such as reduced demand, global competition, rising costs, outdated technology, or the depletion of natural resources. As a result, factories may shut down, jobs are lost, and industrial areas may face economic difficulties. These cycles show how industries grow, peak, and sometimes fade as conditions change. What do we mean by transnational corporations? When we say transnational corporations or TNC are large companies that operate in more than one country. They have their headquarters in one country, usually a developed nation, but have factories, offices, or branches in other countries around the world. TNC manage production and services across borders and often move parts of their operations to countries where labor is cheaper, resources are more available, or taxes are lower. Examples of TNCs or include companies like Apple, Coca-Cola, and Toyota. In simple terms, a transnational corporation is a company that does business in many countries, not just where it was originally founded. What do we mean by global production? When we say global production, it refers to the process of making goods and services across different countries. Instead of everything being produced in one place, companies now spread production activities around the world to take advantage of cheaper labor, better resources, advanced technology, or larger markets. For example, a smartphone may be designed in the United States, have parts made in South Korea and Japan, be assembled in China, and then sold worldwide. This global system helps companies reduce cost and increase efficiency. Hegemony and economic ascendancy both relate to power and influence, especially in global or regional contexts, but they have different meanings. When we say hegemony, it means dominance or leadership of one country or group over others, especially in political, cultural, or economic matters. For example, the United States has often been described as having global hegemony due to its strong military, economy, and cultural influence. Economic ascendancy, on the other hand, means a rise in economic power and importance. It refers to the country or region becoming more influential because of its growing economy. For instance, China is said to be in a phase of economic ascendancy due to its rapid growth and expanding global trade. Now let's proceed to space and production. It refers to the relationship between geographic space or physical location and the production of goods and services. It explores how industries, factories, and businesses are spread out over space and how location affects what it produces, how it's produced, and for whom. This concept is important in geography and economics because where production happens depends on factors like land, labor, transportation, access to markets, and resources. For example, some industries are located near raw materials, like mining, while others are near cities to access labor and consumers. In simple terms, space and projection means looking at where things are made and why they are made there. Now, let's proceed to trade. When we say trade, it means the buying and selling of goods and services between people, businesses, or countries. It allows people to get products they then produce themselves in exchange for money or other goods. There are two main types of trade. The first one is the domestic trade. It is a trade within the same country. The second one is the international trade. It is a trade between different countries. Deindustrialization refers to the process where a country or region experiences decline in industrial activity, especially in manufacturing and heavy industry. This often happens when factories close, jobs in industry are lost, and the economy shifts more towards services like banking, healthcare, or retail, instead of making physical goods. Deindustrialization can result from global competition, technological changes, or companies moving production to other countries where costs are lower. In simple terms, deindustrialization means that fewer things are being made in factories, and the economy is becoming less focused on industry and more on services. The shift to service, the difficulty for workers to adjust, and the Rust Belt decline are all connected effects of deindustrialization. The shift to service, as factories close, economies move from making goods like cars or steel to providing services like healthcare, education, or finance. This is called a service-based economy. While service industries grow, they often require different skills, and some offer lower wages or less stability than industrial jobs. The second one is hard for workers to adjust. Many factory workers find it difficult to transition to the service sector because they may lack the education, training, or experience needed for these new jobs. As a result, some face long-term unemployment or have to take lower-paying jobs. And the last one is the Rust Belt decline. The Rust Belt is a region in the northeastern and midwestern United States, like Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, that was known for its strong manufacturing base. As factories closed and jobs were lost, these areas went through economic decline, population loss, and urban decay. The term Rust Belt reflects the image of abandoned, rusting factories and infrastructure. So now, let's proceed to the three economic sectors, describe different types of economic activities. The first one is the primary sector, so it involves using natural resources directly from the earth. This includes activities like farming, fishing, mining, and forestry. So, it's about collecting raw materials. Another one is the secondary sector. It involves manufacturing and processing raw materials into finished goods. This includes factories making clothes, cars, or electronics, construction, and processing. So, it's about making products. The last one is the tertiary sector. It involves providing services instead of goods. This includes healthcare, education, banking, transportation, and retail. So it's about helping people or businesses.